What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Devin the Bear. Today we're going to be talking about UFC 266. So make sure and let us know what your thoughts are as we get into ours. For the early prelims, there's some exciting matchups with Matthew Simmelsberger and Martin Sano Jr. and Carl Roberson and Nick Maximov. I think those are going to be pretty fun. The prelims, there's quite a few fighters on there that are definitely fun to watch. You have Roxanne Modafferi fighting Tyler Santos. That one's going to be a good one. Shamil Abarakimov is going to be fighting Chris Dawkins. That should be a pretty promising fight as well as Dan Hooker and Nasrat Hakparast. That one I think might be fight of the night, which is going to be that's a big challenge for this card.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good fights on here, but I think that one has the potential to easily be fight of the night.
Have you heard the backstory of trying to get Dan Hooker to the U.S. for this fight?
Yeah.
Like, apparently the U.S. embassy in New Zealand is closed because they are under lockdown again, and they said they would work out his visa issues, and they never really worked them out. And what ended up happening. So he had a meeting on Monday and gets approved for it. They said it would take 24 hours to get approved. He gets approved for it on Tuesday, flies out today. We'll be landing in California on Thursday, and it has to make weight by Friday.
Yeah, pretty intense schedule for him. But
if there's anybody that can do something like that, though, it's Dan Hooker for sure. That's just me. I think Dan Hooker is tough as nails. And
yeah, he's more game bred than game bred.
Yeah, he really is. I think a lot of people are more game bred than game bred, though. And so, So he's got a tough challenge, though. I mean, he's trying to prove that he's still a top lightweight, and I mean, he's kind of had not really a fall from grace, but kind of question. He's kind of lost in limbo with the rest of from 5 to 10. All those fighters are kind of lost in limbo and where they land in the title picture for 155 or the top 5 for 155.
Yeah, I think the biggest question is just, is he top 5 or not?
Yeah.
Top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
But top 5 is kind of where he wants to be, but it's not where he is anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Nasrat Hakparast is going to be a pretty insane fight. I'm trying to remember what they call him. The German something. Blanking on the name. But he's very good. He's very well rounded. He can handle pretty much anything. I think his only loss in the he's got 2 losses in the UFC: Marcin Held and Drew Dober, and those are some pretty tough names. Yeah. But I feel like he's beaten tougher guys. Those nights that he lost, just matchup differences. You never know.
Yeah,
can't really play MMA math, obviously, but this fight, like I said, I believe it could be fight of the night, just because both guys always throw down.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for sure. So the preliminary card is headlined by Marlon Moraes versus Merab Dvalishvili. And I feel like with the position that Marlon Moraes is in, he needs this win bad.
Yeah.
He's on a win or lose. Definitely a win or lose situation. But in the sense that it's like, hey, like
win or lose your career.
Yeah, and he's the last time he won a fight was 2019 against Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
In a fight I didn't think he won. I thought he clearly lost that fight. And since then he's lost twice to Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font. Both the guys are the top 5 in that division, but he just hasn't looked very good. Before that, I mean, that's when he lost. He fought for the title one time in the UFC against Henry Cejudo in a fight that he gassed out after the first round immediately.
Yeah.
And I mean, Merab is known for his gas tank, and that's the thing too. Is like that guy. He's not the most exciting fighter, but I mean, he comes in, he mixes his boxing and his wrestling up very, very well. He's very good with his sambo is like top tier. He has very, very good sambo. But it's just going to be the question of how is Marlon going to be able to combat that? And he's still, his switch kick is so fucking quick. Like, he's finished plenty of guys with it. I've heard Frankie Edgar talk about it before. Frankie Edgar and him train together. And they were talking about something, and I think Frankie Edgar said he like started doing yoga. And he said that he's like, I don't like doing yoga. Like, I hate to stretch. But what's funny is he talked about Marlon Moraes. He's like, that dude he's not limber at all. Like, he's like, I don't know how he's able to get his leg up that high to kick people in the head.
Yeah, I think the odds are definitely stacked against Marlon, and it sucks because it's on such an important fight, possibly. Yeah. But definitely thinking that Merab takes that fight.
And I think so too. Yeah. I think
it's hard to stop that train.
If Marlon Moraes wants to win that fight, he has to do it in the first round. There's no question about it. It's because it's just the way he fights. I mean, he gasses out too quick. And if he wants to actually do something about that, he has to prove that, okay, yeah, and I'm still a top 10 fighter. Yeah. The way to do that against Merab is against a tough guy like Merab. Merab's only lost twice in the UFC, and one of them both of them were, well, his one loss was against Ricky Simón, which was a really weird stoppage. He ended up, what did he end up doing? He was in a guillotine from Ricky Simón, and he was kicking to show life, and whenever he was doing that, the ref stopped, and the fight stopped. Though the bell went off, and it was the end of the round. But Merab actually went out cold from the choke as soon as he let go of it, and so that counted as a technical submission loss for him. But besides that, Merab's just always, shown why he's number 11 in the very competitive division. So I don't know. I think Merab takes it though.
Yeah, it's just such a guy that's rising so fast and so dominantly. Yeah. And seeing Marlon not be as active, not be as successful, not be very dominant. It's kind of, Merab's the favorite for a reason. Yeah. And that's just kind of how that fight falls as far as I see. And then, so we'll move to the main card, and that opens up with Jessica Andrade fighting Cynthia Calvillo. That fight should be pretty good. But again, I think Jessica Andrade is just kind of a force, and Cynthia has shown that she can be too, but the only time Andrade has looked genuinely bad was against Valentina. Yeah. Jessica Andrade is a fucking tank. Yeah. She's an absolute fucking unit. Have you seen that lady? Like, she's jacked, dude. She's got like no neck. What's it called? But then you see Cynthia Calvillo, who's still trying to find her footing at flyweight. She moved up. She only has one win at flyweight against Jessica Aya, who's a top challenger. But then again, it's just, I don't know. I feel like with this division though, it's so shallow in the sense of like other talents outside of Valentina Shevchenko. Like who really matters in this division? The way that Valentina, how good she is, and compared to these other fighters, look what she does to them. And then, it's a competitive division if you're trying to fight for the title, but it seems like it's more of like, all right, who's next up, And so, but I don't know. I think Andrade is going to just be too much for Cynthia Calvillo, though. Yeah, I definitely do as well. I don't really see Calvillo getting past Andrade. And just the fact that Jessica Andrade is so good, she's so well-rounded, it makes everything so much harder, because when you have someone who's well-rounded in that division, but they also have knockout power to go with their striking, it's so hard to beat that. Yeah, and so with the way that Cynthia fights, is she's kind of a boxer, but she makes it a fight in a phone booth, and she clinches you, takes you down, and that's kind of how she is. She's I noticed she used to train with Team Alpha Male. I'm not sure if she's still there. But it's kind of how all those guys fight. Her boxing is okay, but it's not like she has bad boxing. But the way that she fights is somebody like Jessica Andrade's style. Yeah, you can't strike with Andrade. No. I'm not saying Valentina couldn't. Yeah. But I'm just saying Valentina made the smart choice and like going, why don't I just take it to the ground? Yeah, and I don't think Cynthia Calvillo could overpower her like Valentina did at all. I don't think so either. I think if Cynthia Calvillo tries to take her down, they're going to clinch up and she's going to get we're going to see another pile driver from fucking Jessica Andrade, honestly. Yeah. We could be wrong though. Yeah. We never know. I wouldn't be mad at it if I was wrong. I'd be okay with it, but I don't know. Jessica Andrade is, like I said, she's a unit. And I'm definitely going with her. I'm going to go with her by finish, honestly. Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah. I think I'm definitely in that same boat. And then the next fight will be Curtis Blades and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. That fight I think is really interesting for the heavyweight division. Yeah. I think both of those guys need a win. Rozenstruik is kind of coming back. He's kept his name relevant, and Curtis Blades hasn't. He lost to Lewis, and he hasn't fought since, right? He hasn't fought since the Lewis fight. And so basically what we've known him as for the last, however long, is the guy who got stiffened up. Yeah. And put to sleep.
It's Herbean's fault.
He became a meme so bad that the meme wasn't even about him anymore.
No, it was about Herbean. Like,
so it's both. It's a good one because both of these guys know that they can't just win. They have to get a cool knockout. One that fans are going to love to see, ones that fans are going to attach to their faces and their names.
And Curtis Blades is not that type of fighter.
No, he is not, because if he goes in there and gets another decision win that Dana White's not happy with, that fans aren't happy with, that does nothing for him.
And that's what he'll argue is like, well, I deserve a title shot, but it's like, man, like look who you have above you in the heavyweight division.
Exactly. Like, do you think he's going to beat Cyril Gane ever?
No,
I don't. Do you think he beats Francis Ngannou? No.
Fuck no.
It's be Derek
Lewis. He had 2 tries.
So it becomes a thing of like, who are you going to beat if that's still your fighting style?
You think he beats Stipe?
No.
I mean, and I think Stipe is probably not, and I know this is a knock on Stipe. I'm a big fan of him, but that's the easiest fight of all those guys.
Yeah. But Stipe only got taken down by Francis, I think, because who would have expected that?
Yeah.
But Stipe would be ready for it against Curtis Blades, and I don't think Curtis Blades.
No, I think he'll be able to get him down, but he gets right back up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think this is gonna be a really, really good fight, or it can be a really fun knockout, or it's gonna be a really, really boring fight. And we've never really seen Joe Rosino have to fight against a wrestler of Curtis Blades' caliber. But I mean, Joe Rosino has the power just like just like Derek Lewis does. Yeah. He has that one punch power. He just puts you out. And Curtis Blades looked really good in his fight against Derek Lewis. He was moving really well. He was winning in the striking.
He was winning that whole fight.
Like, honestly, like, Curtis Blades is the better fighter than Derek Lewis, but all it takes is one from Derek Lewis, and that's the story of Derek Lewis, though. All it takes is one punch, and he's gonna put you out cold. And Curtis Blades is known to leave himself very, very open on his takedown. He doesn't really disguise his takedowns very well. And so Jairzinho, he's a one-punch type of guy. I mean, we saw what he did. He made Alistair Overeem's face explode from one punch in a fight he was losing.
Yeah. I definitely agree that he's got the one-punch knockout power, but I think he puts together combinations pretty well.
Yeah.
He does them well when he's backing up, and he can also press forward with a combination. So I think he's not bad. It's just the level of competition that he got thrown against with Francis, with Cyril. He just maybe wasn't ready for
too big of a jump.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem too, though, is like he's not very young as well, so you kind of have to push him, and that's with the heavyweight division. I mean, I think the youngest one in there, the top 5, is Cyril Gane.
He's killing it.
Yeah, he's doing awesome. I mean, look at these other guys. Like, I think I want to say Francis is almost 35. It's an old man division. And that's why you're seeing guys like Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane start taking over, because that's going to be the new generation of the heavyweight division. And
I agree, but I'll say this: I think heavyweight's always been kind of, when you're older, you know what you're doing, so you don't rely on your power and your weight.
Strength,
you know what you're doing, so you fight better, and that allows for better things to happen. You look at Randy Couture; he dominated that division. Tim Sylvia. Even Brock Lesnar, you didn't include that.
Yeah.
Kane, Junior Dos Santos.
Kane was young though when he won the belt.
How old was he?
He was pretty young. I want to say
his late 20s.
Yeah, I mean that's relatively whenever you hit your biological prime as a man.
I agree with that, but
yeah, I mean
compared to 30, they're like, oh no, you're old now.
Like you look at like Daniel Cormier, he was old. He was an older guy when he won the belt. He's like 43. He was about Randy Couture's age.
But again, I just feel like older guys have always had more success in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. So they're not having to put their body through weight cuts or anything, you know. Like I see where you're coming from, you know. And but with Curtis Blades, like I don't know, when he gets knocked out, he gets knocked the fuck out. Yep. Like I swear, like Chris Tucker's watching that shit. Like you just got knocked the fuck out. Like
I feel like this is gonna be a Rosenstruck fight. Because if Curtis Blades gets him down, he knows that's going to be the fight.
He's going to have to get him down.
Exactly, he's going to have to get him down. So if Curtis Blades gets him down, Rosenstruck knows, okay, if I don't knock him out, this is what's going to happen every single time.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's more than capable of getting him down, keeping him down too. I mean, look what he did to Alistair Overeem.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but the thing is like Curtis Blades is going to need to maul him if he takes him down.
Yeah, you
Like
can't just take him down and grind him out.
Yeah, because it's like you can't argue for a top 3 opponent if you put on a fight like that.
Yeah, and he's going to. If he wins,
Yeah.
he's
Well, that's what he
going
does.
to.
He did it against Alexander Volkov. When he
Volkov,
fought,
yeah.
He put on a really
Jeez.
shitty fight against Alexander Volkov. I understand you won, but still, like that's not exciting.
And I also understand, how do you fight Volkov? Dude's huge, and he's very good with his hands. But you took
to
him down.
Control him for 25 minutes.
You took him down. You diminished that reach. Now do something with it.
And so,
but yeah, I think this fight goes Rosenstruck. I think he gets the knockout.
I think Blades goes by decision.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna fuck it up and really start this card off super boring. So yeah, he kind of does that.
So if you're paying for it,
just stream it.
Remember,
just stream that fight. But the fight you will want to pay for.
That's when you go to the bathroom or the kitchen.
Yeah. you just like, hey, you know what? I think I'm just gonna chug 2 beers real quick and. Just
because we've said this.
You could hang out with fucking Joe Rogan and hit some DMT. It's only a 10-minute trip,
DMT and elk meat.
Elk meat, yeah. I mean, shit, dude. That sounds like a much better time than a Curtis Blades fight.
Because we say this, though, Curtis Blades going to go in there with amazing boxing.
I fucking hope he does, because he had pretty good hands when he was fighting Derek Lewis. Better boxing than he's shown before, but...
Yeah.
Like I was saying, though, the fight you will want to pay for is the next one, the rematch. It's 17 years in the making. Nick Diaz versus Robbie fucking Lawler, and I'm super excited for this fight.
Yeah, a lot of people think this fight is just going to be bad because they're old.
Yeah,
but I don't think so. Robbie Lawler still does it.
Yeah.
He still is a fighter. He's just as much of a fighter as he has ever been.
Yeah.
And then Nick Diaz, this is his chance to come back and prove that he's not kind of the joke that he's become. And I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but he kind of has. And he even says it himself. We just watched that UFC countdown. He even kind of says it himself, the gangster thing. That's not what he wants to be known for. He can't really do that.
Yeah, he's got kids
forever.
looking up to him.
Yeah, and so I think he kind of understands, like, no, it's time to be a fighter, a professional fighter, and actually go out there and do it the right way. So...
What if he comes out wearing a suit?
Nah, I don't want that. I'm not saying he needs to come out wearing a tracksuit or freaking, like, a hoodie.
I hope all the Diaz fans listen to this, talk good about Nick Diaz so they know we don't fucking dislike them. I would really appreciate that. So, because... I try to talk to people about this fight. They're like, well, I don't even care. Like, I already know what you're going to say about him. I'm like, nah, you actually don't.
Yeah, and we've talked about this fight a lot since the matchup got made. And we both want Nick Diaz to win this fight.
And I think he does win this fight. But the thing is, though, is with the way... so what we've seen on Robbie Lawler, like, yeah, he doesn't look the best. But something to consider also is look who he's fighting. They're not able to implement into his style.
Yeah.
They shut his style down immediately. Neil Magny dominated him.
Yeah.
But
Neil Magny's good at negating what you do.
Yeah.
And peppering you till he wins.
Look how long he is, you know. I mean, there's only so much you can do against that. The guys that Robbie Lawler beat the shit out of or just went to war with, they kind of went into his style. And I think Nick Diaz will play into that style very, very well. But also, I know it'll be, 6 years since we've seen Nick Diaz in the ring? It's six. I want to say it's been 6.
Yeah, I think so.
So the thing is he hasn't been just sitting on his couch eating chips and just smoking weed. Like, that dude does triathlons for fun. Like, if you know how much he takes his health serious, like...
They still do that, though? Because I feel like we've all said that for so long.
Yeah.
But, like, do they still do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when that became a popular little bit of knowledge. Like, oh, what? These guys do triathlons just because they feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with their day-to-day life. Or it is their day-to-day life, but it has nothing to do with their career.
Yeah.
They just feel like doing it, so they go do it.
Yeah, the dude swims to Alcatraz and shit. What does, like, those triathlons that do that. Like, he puts on a wetsuit, but still, have you ever been in San Francisco water before?
Nope.
It's freezing. Yeah, I have. I went to the beach in San Francisco.
Nice.
It was absolutely terrible. Like, I got in the water, I got right back out, and I was like, fuck that. But it's super pretty though. But yeah, man, like, he's just like, I'm not expecting a ring rusted Nick Diaz. I'm expecting a smarter Nick Diaz to this fight because I think with him becoming a coach and, you know, running his own school now, he's going to I think he's seen the other aspect of fighting. I mean, he's always been a coach. I know he's always coached his brother Nate, but now it's like he's coming in with a completely different mindset to fighting as well.
And it definitely seems like that's the case. So I'm not sure who my brain says is going to win.
Yeah.
But I want Nick Diaz to win.
Yeah.
Just because I think it does more for the division than if Robbie Lawler wins. And by the division, I don't even know what I mean anymore.
Yeah.
Since they're fighting at middleweight.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to talk about that.
But, yeah, it's happening at middleweight because Nick Diaz couldn't make weight.
Yeah.
And so they changed it. Robbie Lawler he was fine with it. So they're fighting at middleweight, 185 now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would mean for the UFC or for the division, whatever division that may be. If Robbie Lawler won, it's like, okay, well, we know you can win. We've seen you winning. You win, and then you lose. So what do they expect to do with Robbie Lawler if he wins? I don't see them really doing anything with him.
I think if Robbie wins, though, he should retire.
Yeah, honestly. Exactly. So if he wins, he retires, and it's like, cool.
What do you do?
It was cool to see you retire on a win. But if Nick wins, it's kind of like, okay, are you back, or are you just wanting to prove to yourself that you can do it? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
But you're a little bit more interested in the result if he wins.
Yeah. And if he wins, I don't know. I would only like him to take big fights. But the problem is, like, you look at everybody in the top 10 of the welterweight division, all those guys want the title. They don't. I mean, they'll take the Diaz fight at any time. But, I mean, besides Jorge Masvidal.
You remember who is still on the UFC roster? GSP.
Yeah.
GSP is still on contract with the UFC.
He won't come back for that fight.
You don't think he would? I think he would come back.
I don't think he would come back for that
fight. Have
fight.
them be the co-main event to like a major fight.
Yeah.
GSP, he'll say it all the time. If you came at the right time, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Come back with a Nick Diaz rematch, and he'll be like, shoot. Let me text Nick.
Let me get that money.
Let me see what's up. I'm bored, man.
He probably is.
These dinosaur bones, they're cool, but like, I'm bored.
Yeah, hang out. My paleontologist friends don't like to talk about this fighting stuff. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know if he would take that fight, but I think it would make for an interesting fight because you have two top tier athletes who never really stopped and they were still doing it, And so it's not like we would see like an old version of them fighting. No, we would still see top great fighters.
And
coming
the way GSP looked against Bisping after 5 years off, that's freaking insane.
Yeah,
and they could obviously do a catchweight. Like I don't think the UFC would be like, oh no, you have to do welterweight or you have to do middleweight. We don't want you coming back and then doing all that. I think GSP would be like, yeah, I don't care what weight. Like let's go do a big fight, a cool one.
I think Dana White would be a dick about it though.
I could see him being that just because his history with GSP.
Yeah.
But if it's done right, I think it would be cool.
Hey, what if like the reason why GSP came back was so he could buy that Megalodon tooth? And it was like,
he's already bought it. But what if he comes back and he's like, there's a T-Rex skull that I really want.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like when he came back to fight fucking Michael Bisping, what if the whole reason why because Dana White was like he just needs money. Like what if it was just to feed into his addiction of like dinosaur bones and stuff,
buying fossils.
Yeah, buying fossils and stuff. Like that was the whole reason why he really came back. Was like I just really want.
Hey, if that's what it is, I'm all for it because I love both things. So I'm all for it.
That would make everything so much cooler though.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
Then it's like, hey, let's not look at this as the Nick Diaz fight. Let's look at it as the Velociraptor Talon fight. Don't you want the one used on screen in Jurassic Park? Come on.
That'd be really cool, actually. Now I'm interested in that fight.
There you go.
And so, but yeah, no, I think with this fight, though, I think Nick Diaz winning does way more for the UFC than Robbie Lawler winning.
Yeah.
But I want to see Nick Diaz win. I have Nick Diaz winning by decision, though. I don't think he's able to finish Robbie Lawler.
I don't either. If he does, it's on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't see him winning this fight anywhere on the feet, and I think he's going to prefer it to be on the feet.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe he's gotten so in touch with his roots in jiu-jitsu, he's like, you know what? In that first fight, I was able to knock you out. Now let me tap you out and just prove I'm better than you everywhere.
It's like, so you're not a knockout guy. Who said that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think with this fight, though, is like the way that Robbie Lawler fights is so fast-paced, all 5 rounds. And that's exactly what Nick Diaz is going to need to bring it out and make him, do it. And I think this is going to be a super fucking fun fight, but I have Diaz by decision.
I do too. As much as I think it'd be cool if he won by submission, I see it being a decision as well. Robbie Lawler's just a tough guy. It's hard to finish that guy. But then the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. That fight is going to be a really tough one because Lauren Murphy sometimes trains out of Houston.
Yeah.
And we like to rep our set here.
I think she actually resides in Houston now.
Does she?
Yeah, I was actually watching the UFC Embedded because Will Harris Productions, they did so well with that guy did so well with what's called following fighters around and stuff.
Yeah.
The UFC doesn't allow him to go to these press events anymore or do that anymore. So the Embedded series had to step their shit up to match what he was doing.
Really?
So that's why the Embedded series is good now. Is
Okay.
because of Will Harris. And yeah, I mean I don't know, he said he's gonna stop doing it, but he does it every once in a while still.
Well,
but
I know her and Bob Perez work together pretty often, if not all the time. But I know she still works in Arizona.
yeah,
But I just don't know how
it's
often.
at the MMA lab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Valentina, she trains all over the world. Sometimes she comes to Houston, so I don't feel so bad.
Fucking
But it's like, you know what? I don't even care. Valentina, I'm such a big fan of Valentina.
yeah,
It's so cool to see, for one, representation from other countries. It's always cool to see that.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see someone who is just such a good person who is so vicious in the cage.
dude, she don't give a fuck. It's scary. Like,
Yeah.
it's watching Valentina fight. It's like she's in there to kill somebody.
What she did to Jessica Andrade, who we were talking about earlier, who is an absolute tank. Valentina was kind of piecing her up on the feet and then took her to the ground and finished her.
Yeah, like what she did to the head kick KO over fucking Jessica Ai.
Oh, Jessica, yeah.
Yeah, it was a brutal knockout.
It's hard, but I for sure think I'm going Valentina. She's just too well-rounded.
Yeah.
She's too... And, I mean, she just seems leagues above everybody whenever she's in there.
Well, that's what, like, so Lauren Murphy's coming in on the only, I think, like, the longest win streak besides Valentina in the flyweight division, sorry. And
which she's been trying to get a title fight for a long time now, because she's like, I've beaten the people that are getting title shots.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they have title shots and I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her.
Yeah, I'd be mad too. I don't know. I liked her on The Ultimate Fighter also because her and Eddie Alvarez always would get into it because Eddie Alvarez is such a dick and he was just super rude to her for no reason. But I mean, besides that, like, she's a good fighter, but whenever she has a split decision win over somebody like Joanne Calderwood, it's like you should be beating people decisively like Joanne Calderwood. Not that Joanne Calderwood is bad at all. I mean, I always enjoy watching her fights, but you should be blowing people like that out of the water.
Well, I think that comes down to just a style thing.
Yeah.
Her style is very good, but she also fights to win. She doesn't always fight to get a finish.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how she secured her win.
She has 2 finishes on this win streak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying she doesn't get finishes.
Yeah,
I'm just saying she fights to win.
Yeah. Which I think is good, though, because if you're on a win streak and you want to call for a title shot, you should be finishing people as well. So, Leon Edwards. Yeah.
Stop hating on him.
I like Leon Edwards.
So stop hating.
He lost, though, against Nate Diaz.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
What?
What?
If these fights or if these fights had no time limit.
If that was in the streets, that'd be it. Like, but
yeah, Lauren Murphy's such a cool person. She's such a great fighter. She's so well rounded. Valentina's, again, I just think another step ahead, and I think it's going to be her speed that kind of gets her the win.
Yeah.
Because I think as far as like IQ and skill, I think Lauren Murphy and Valentina are pretty matched, but Valentina's natural ability is what's going to win her that fight.
Yeah. If it goes to the ground, Lauren will need to do everything possible to transition to better positioning for her. Because I feel like a lot of fighters don't do that when they fight Valentina because she's so quick, and so you just need to roll with her, and so just really just flow grapple with her. I know it's way easier said than done.
Yeah. I was sitting there like,
you're looking at me like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but like in practice,
are you sure about that? But yeah, like it's just, I don't know, man. I would like to see Lauren Murphy win. I think it would be a great representation of Bob Perez as well.
Yeah,
you know, because that dude's already a very highly touted figure in Houston Muay Thai, and so but Valentina's probably gonna take it, like more than likely gonna win it. But I would like to see if it goes to decision. I'll be really happy though for that though, because it's like I wouldn't count it as a win for Lauren, but it's like you just stood in there with one of the best female fighters of all time, and you were able to go all 5 rounds with her and keep it competitive. You know.
Yeah. You were at least one of the first people she couldn't finish.
Yeah, and so I think that says a lot about Lauren Murphy. But I think with the flyweight division though, when Valentina walks away, that's when we're really gonna see what the flyweight division, women's flyweight division is like. It's the same as I think whenever Cejudo left.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now we're seeing how good the flyweight division the men's flyweight division
and
really is.
We're still technically trying to figure out who is going to be the champ that runs things, because it's Moreno for now, but that's kind of, you have to tack on that for now.
Yeah.
And with Valentina, she's dominant, and we don't see anyone beating her. So who takes it after her, and who's going to be the real champion when she's gone?
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely agree.
So yeah.
Agree.
Which, speaking of that, I found out why they're doing the trilogy fight with Moreno and Figueiredo.
Why?
Pantoja was injured. That's why they're doing the third, is because Brandon Moreno was okay with it. He's like, no, I want to do that fight.
Man, didn't y'all hear freaking SpongeBob's song about being indoors?
Yeah.
You get hurt if you go outside.
Yeah.
It's safe inside. Chill out, guys.
What about that solo by Chip?
Exactly, you know? Chip, Penny, and use napkin.
Then Gary ate him. I'm like, you fat fuck, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just always an injury now, man. I feel like there's been injuries like crazy.
Yeah, it sucks because I feel like that holds the division back now. Like,
yeah, it really freaking does.
Because that trilogy fight with them two could have easily been made like later on in the future. At least let Figueiredo prove that he should be doing that. Like, don't do it right away.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. They could have made any other fight instead of doing that. They could have gave it to Askar Askarov in the Alex Perez fight, but no, Brandon Moreno trying to get in there as soon as possible, and he said yes to the fight. He said he loved the idea of the fight. But apparently the UFC is trying to push as many fucking trilogies down our throat that we can get.
Yeah, you remember whenever I was saying, like, you just don't see rubber matches like you used to?
Yeah.
Remember when I said that? I freaking regret it.
Yeah, this is our second one in a year.
And is it only the second? Are you sure?
As far as I know as far as like headliners, it's the second one, but I don't know if there was more. But
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, main event time.
You don't look excited.
For what?
To talk about the main event.
Oh, Volkanovski, Ortega. You know what it is. No big deal. No, it's. I don't know. I feel like I'm just waiting for someone else to come along. But, that, besides the point. Let's talk about the fight. Volkanovski and Ortega, after coaching the Ultimate Fighter, they're finally going to be fighting. And they've kind of been at odds with each other throughout the course of the Ultimate Fighter. Whether that's real or not, who knows. But I feel like it's a pretty good matchup for a fight. They both like to go in there and throw down. They both like to use their hands. I feel like this is a time for Brian Ortega to show that he should be the champion, or he could be a champion.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets it though.
I don't think so either. I think he has great submission wins, but look who they're against at the same time. Cub Swanson is really, really good, but he always has a habit for leaving his neck out there. It ain't the first time he's been caught by a guillotine. I think when it comes down to it, Volkanovski is not going to go to the ground with him. So what's Ortega going to do? He's going to just fight in a phone booth with him, and I think that makes it Volkanovski's fight. I think not questioning Brian Ortega's toughness, because we saw it in the Max Holloway fight. He just doesn't go down. But with Alexander Volkanovski, though, I just think he's tougher, and I think he hits harder, and I think he has the better striking.
Same. It's not that I'm not excited for it. It's just that I think this is Brian Ortega's chance. Like I was saying, I think this is his chance to really show what he can do, and I don't think we're going to get to see that because of Volkanovski.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just, and I feel like the reason why some people might not be so very excited for this fight as well is because it's just taking a really long time to get here.
Yeah,
the UFC fucked up and made them the tough coaches, which those two guys shouldn't have been the tough coaches. They're just too laid back to really do that. I know that on the show they went back and forth because Brian Ortega tried to rub in Alexander Volkanovski's face. He's like, hey, we're 4-0. And Volkanovski was like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, that's not. He's like, these guys are in here fighting. He's like, they're 4-0. Like, they're losing their fights. Like, that's not right of you to. And I get where Volkanovski is coming from.
I do too, but it's a team thing. They've always,
Yeah.
bragged about team. What was it? The GSP, who was it? Was it Jens Pulver and BJ Penn, where BJ Penn didn't win a fight on the
Probably.
his team didn't win a fight on the show. It was pretty funny. Koscheck, I think his team maybe only had a couple wins. Anyway, it's just a fight. I think it's a good main event fight, but it doesn't have the build up that the rest of the fights on the card have. So when you have a super stacked card like that, I get to the main event and I'm not as enthused as I was earlier.
And I think it's what's going to come down to is like, it's going to be a fun fight. I think Volkanovski is going to take it by stoppage.
I feel like he goes to decision. I don't know. I just feel like he goes to decision.
I hope not. I want to see some good stoppages this weekend.
The rest of the card should be that.
I think so.
Yeah.
But, I'm going Volkanovski, though. I just think he hasn't really got shown how elite he really is yet because of the fact that he's had to fight Max Holloway 2 times in a row,
Yeah. And I think both times people thought Max won.
Yeah. I thought Volkanovski won both those fights.
There's a lot of people in their division that I feel like I want to see them fight.
Yeah.
I want to see them fight, and one day I feel like they're going to be the champion. You have like Giga Chikadze, Arnold Allen, Calvin Gator, Max Holloway still, Yair Rodriguez.
I think we'll see Giga Chikadze fighting for a title within 2020.
Bryce Mitchell, when has he fought again?
He hasn't fought since the Andre Villa fight, has he?
Yeah, he needs to get back in there.
So,
but it's just it's a great division, and I feel like it's very exciting, the whole division. But these two guys, they're so good, that they're gonna kind of cancel each other out, and I think it's gonna be a decision, and I think Volkanovski's gonna take it because he's gonna be the worker in that fight.
Yeah.
And Ortega's not going to be able to do that.
I don't think Ortega has a puncher's chance. I think he has a good chance of winning, but I don't think he does, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of retracting on stoppages, though. I think Volkanovski takes it by decision. But he needs a stoppage to prove a point, though.
Yeah, he does. And then what are they? I hope they don't just give him Max Holloway.
They're going to give him Max Holloway.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that fight at all. I think they should give him somebody else. And so just at least let the division move on. Not move on from Max Holloway. Max Holloway's always going to be a prominent figure. That dude's only like 31.
Get Max Holloway and Ortega.
Yeah. 2. Ortega said if he wins, he wants that fight. And so, yeah.
I feel like that holds up the division, too.
Yeah. Get Giga in there. Have him fight somebody. Have him fight Calvin Kattar.
Have freaking Giga fight Max Holloway.
That fight made me so sad if those two fought, though.
Yeah. That would be a fun fight, though.
Yeah.
Chan Sung John's up there, too.
Yep. You still got Korean Zombie, who's still up there. He needs a win, though, before we even consider him for a title.
Did he not just win?
I don't think he did.
He won. He won by decision. I want to say it was his first fight back, but I could be wrong. I can't remember who he won or who he fought, but he won by decision.
Dan Ige, that's who it was.
Oh yeah. He's up there. The division is just a good, exciting division, but you have these top 3 guys who are just holding everything up. They keep fighting each other.
And it seems like it's more like 5 through 10 are all really exciting up and comers.
Yeah.
And then you got top 5 who've been there for a really long time. So I think I think
Yair Rodriguez, he's top 5, right?
Yeah.
I think he's the one that could be real exciting and bring kind of a wild card in there, but
I don't think
get to see him fight.
I don't think he beats Ortega. I think I could see him giving Volkanovski some problems, but I don't know. He's good, but I don't think he's of the elite in that division.
He'll have to fight more for us to see.
Yeah, and so that's UFC 266. We did want to talk about some news that's happened recently. Canelo already has a win over Caleb Plant. So yesterday at the presser, they got in each other's face and Canelo shoved him in pretty hard, and then Caleb Plant went to throw a punch or a slap, and you saw Canelo roll off of it and then give him a nice 1-2.
It was
Buckle my
pretty
shoe.
clean.
It was very clean.
All instinctual, just pure muscle memory, popping Caleb Plant in the face.
Hey, as soon as I saw that shit, I was like, Caleb Plant, I hope you're making a lot of money off this fucking fight.
Yeah.
Like
That, I feel like that's like, you just try to get a sucker punch. Like, I know he's walking up to Canelo, and we know something's about to go down.
Yeah.
But he tried to sucker punch him, let's be real.
Yeah.
And Canelo was ready for it.
Yeah,
So
he
it's
was.
like when you walk up to him with your fists up,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You can't even do it with a sneak attack.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Pakistan. Fucking I don't know. As soon as it happened though, I was like, fuck man, like Caleb Plant's about to lose this fight, and I think we all know that's about to happen. I mean, he said he got one on him, and it seemed like it was like that one didn't even really land. He just rolled it off the head.
Yeah. I don't even think it made contact to his head.
Yeah.
I think he backed up and it just went right past his face.
Why would you try to sucker punch fucking Canelo Alvarez, dude?
You know, why would you talk about his mom?
Yeah. Is that what happened?
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that?
I heard something.
Caleb Plant was apparently talking about Canelo's mom, and Canelo's like, nope, you don't do that.
Hey, he speaks English now, bro. He knows what the fuck you're saying. You can't talk shit to him. Before, people would talk shit to Canelo, and he had no idea what they were saying.
Yeah,
Now
when he was like, get out of here.
Get out of here, motherfucker. But yeah, nah, man. I don't think I would if I had the talent of Canelo Alvarez. I don't think people would ever disrespect my mother. People already don't disrespect my mother. She's a nice woman. But yeah,
Shout out Jackie.
big
You're
shout out to
listening.
Jackie. Shit.
But yeah, that was definitely interesting. I think that's a fun little foretelling of how that fight's gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't see Canelo losing that one, which is surprising because it's like, at what point does Canelo chill out with moving weight classes?
Did you ask Carlos about that?
I don't think we've talked about it yet.
No.
We'll definitely have to get his input. But yeah, what else? Oh, Dylan Dennis getting arrested.
Piece of shit. Yeah, Dylan Dennis got arrested outside of a bar, and I think Tom the Blast was actually outside there recording it, and he was just laughing about it because I think Dylan Dennis said something about Tom the Blast's dad who passed away, and
Yeah, I know Tom was super close with his dad. His dad was a big part of his life.
yeah.
So again, you just don't disrespect people's parents. Just don't do it.
Oh, Joe Rogan is going to be not going to be at this 266
He's
event.
doing a hunting trip.
Piece of shit. But hey, I'm okay with it because we're getting Paul Felder, and I like Paul Felder.
Yeah, I like
on the
Paul
mic.
Felder. So it's gonna be Paul Felder and who?
Paul Felder, I'm sure DC, and probably John Anik.
I remember seeing one of the names, and I can't remember what it was.
I don't know though if
I
it's.
saw it.
I hope it's John Anik. I think Paul Felder and John Anik work really well together.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I like Bisping. I like Bisping in there. I really do.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Sometimes it does detract a little bit, but it's funny. But yeah. What else we got going on?
I'm checking right now. Let's make sure.
Oh,
we
you know
didn't miss
what?
anything.
Something that we had posted about was the top 5 BMF, and DC and Ryan Clark had their.
Ryan Garcia is making his comeback.
That's
Also,
cool. That's cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But this is actually pretty good, though. This is some good news. Ryan Garcia's taking on Jojo Diaz for the interim lightweight title. And the winner is going to be crowned mandatory challenger for Devin Haney.
It would have been better news if he was fighting Terrence Crawford, because that's what I want.
I think Terrence Crawford
He already has a fight, I think.
gives him a lot of problems.
Oh, I think Terrence Crawford knocks him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't take Ryan Garcia seriously anymore.
How come? Because he's kind of just sitting back.
He's just been, messing around, doing whatever, and it's like, great, you have speed, but you need to start taking, like, real tough guys.
Yeah.
Because you are real good with your hands, man, but you need to prove how great you are. Like, how different from everybody are you? When you have Terrence Crawford, who's pretty active, you have Errol Spence Jr., who's pretty active, and you're not, and those are the guys you're supposed to be competing with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see more from him, and he doesn't seem to be interested in that.
Then, I forgot to mention, Yoel Romero made his debut last weekend for Bellator.
Oh, yeah.
He lost.
And he lost to Phil Davis.
Yeah. And he said he thought, because he's the main event, he thought it was a 5-round fight, not a 3-round. He really said that. Like, he was serious.
Gosh.
And Dana White commented on it. He's like, now you ought to know what I had to deal with all the time. That is classic Yoel Romero, and that is what I've always had to deal with him.
Just like the Stoolgate.
Yeah.
freaking against Tim Kennedy.
I love that shit. He's like, I don't know what he's saying because he speaks
Yeah.
Spanish.
He knows what he's saying.
Fucking asshole, dude.
Speaks Spanish and in the post-fight interview speaks English.
And that was like the spire of Tim Kennedy's career. It spiraled down so much after that fight.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, go on, BMF.
No, that's all right.
You don't want to talk about it?
Yeah, DC and Ryan Clark had their show, and they just talked about top 5 BMF. DC's was Fedor, Chuck Liddell, Donald Cerrone, Francis Ngannou, and Nick Diaz, and then Ryan Clark's were John Jones, Amanda Nunes, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Max Holloway, and Diego Sanchez. I feel like that one's a little weird, but does any let us know what y'all think?
What are your 5?
My 5?
Yeah.
It's a tough one to come up with on
It
the
is a
spot.
tough one. Maybe we'll post them on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll come
make
up
our
with our own.
Yeah.
And we'll let y'all. We'll want to see what y'all say. So let us know what y'all 5. If you were to take 5 people from boxing or Muay Thai or MMA, and they're just bad dudes, people you wouldn't want to see on the street, and if you you bump them wrong, you end up with a glass bottle sticking out your ribs.
Jesus.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think you're saying like a glass eye or something.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what y'all think about who your BMF people are, who the baddest people on the planet are, not just in the cage, but outside of it, on them streets.
On the streets.
Well, till next time.